The next match is the one that got to me. Josh Woods against Mark Briscoe. And Woods had Sterling, the lawyer, and Tony Nese and Arya Daivari, Sean's brother, in the corner with him, and there's nothing the matter with that. And I'm not going to knock Josh Woods. He's an ex-MMA guy. He's the guy that I managed in my last match as a manager, by the way. Did you know that?
You've said that before, yeah.
At WrestleCade several years ago. Well, not the guy that I managed, but the guy that I managed against when I managed
Severn.
Dan Severn. I said that wrong, but you knew what I was talking about, so you didn't call me on it. But I managed Dan Severn against Josh Woods. He's an ex-MMA guy. He's been working in Ring of Honor. He's a great-looking athlete. He's legitimate. And when Mark Briscoe came out, it woke people up that had not been didn't look to me like a very good time so far, but they knew who he was, and they were excited to see him. And again, here is where Tony Khan has been gifted something that all he has to do is take care of. He doesn't have to plant it and grow it and water it. It's been handed to him. Just put it in a nice place and let everybody look at it. And he can't figure this out. The way they put this together. Number one, even Mark Briscoe's a very professional guy and would do anything, and may have even said to Josh Woods, hey, you're already here, brother. I'm going to win, so I'm going to give you most of the match. Some producer should have shut that down at the fucking behest of Tony Khan, the booker himself. They had a match that not only went through a break, but also was involving other people and distractions and unnecessary falderall around the ring. Mark Briscoe, until the latter stages of the match, barely had any offense. He's still at a point in time where he, as a single, needs to be established as a guy that's capable. Just because everybody knows that, in the words of Bill Watts, meaning the fans, doesn't mean that you don't have to tell them again. They had just got this match started. They were serious, and they looked like grown men. And then suddenly they do a spot where the heels at ringside pull Mark out to the floor and start beating on him. And here comes Felix and Penthouse, and they hit ringside, and they get on the fucking heels that pulled Mark out. And guess what they did, Brian? Guess what they did? Guess.
They stayed in ringside, and they helped out in the match, and then they high-fived the fans.
No, they fought off.
Oh, that's right.
They fought right off. And the whole match, meanwhile, had ground to a halt. Mark has had exactly one match on their television. It took place a month ago. But now they do an apron spot as soon as the other guys fight off, where Woods suplexes Mark off the apron, flat back to the floor, and they go to the break. So I wrote, the babyface has done almost nothing before the cutoff for the heat. We got 20 minutes of that rotten tag team match earlier. They give us 2 minutes of this with interference, and they go to the break and disrupt the fucking flow. So, anybody wondering why I never even considered taking the fucking job for this guy and these people? It's shit like this. When he gets shit handed to him and he can't even figure it out. They come back from the break. Mark is firing back, but Sterling distracts and Wood stops him again. And finally, Mark makes a comeback and gets a chair and sets it up and does the old Sabu triple jump, leaping cannonball thing over the top or whatever. Hit a razor's edge off the ropes for a 2 count, and then he calls for the J Driller, and I'm thinking, yeah. And Wood stops him again and gets a 2 count on a German. And I'm, what the fuck? I said these famous words in the Ring of Honor production truck about Michael Elgin and Grizzly Redwood 10 years ago. Who the fuck are we pushing here? And Woods beat up Mark some more, and they went back and forth. And then Mark hit a Death Valley driver. Boom, beautiful. Bounced to his feet, went up to the top and hit the Froggy Bow. 1, 2, 3. Finally, and got a big pop. But Tony does not know how to use what he's handed because he hasn't already thought of it. And it doesn't fit in his, meticulous plans that he's laid out because he doesn't sleep because of whatever the medication is. I'll give you Mark Briscoe. He's for the past month, he's been bulletproof. Once they got the clearance to put him on television, he should have been getting a 5 or 6 minute win every week over anybody to establish that he's there. He's forging on the Briscoe name as a single. He's going to be a player. He's got a winning record, and we're seeing his shit and we're liking it. And his personality has a chance to get over. And all of his quirks. It's not when you bring him in after 3 weeks ago, he had a good match, and now he's having a match with a lot of attention going elsewhere and barely pulls it out against a guy that we never see on this television.
Yeah, another issue
Go
too.
Ahead.
You said that Josh Woods, and again, we've never seen him, so how are you supposed to really care? Came out with several people. How many people were on this show? The Dark Order are all on this show. 8 people in the opening match. I mean, this show is just packed with people.
A lot of people. No stars. Here's another example. What do you think about this? Cody Rhodes in the WWE. He tears his pec and is out for 9 months for surgery. They turn that into a positive. And by the time that he comes back at the Royal Rumble, the packages have been played and replayed constantly. And the footage and the comments have been reinforced in everybody's mind. It's like he came back from the dead and triumphed, over all adversity from a torn pec, right? They know how to make a star. Oh, Hobbs, Powerhouse Hobbs. From what we understand, his brother was murdered right in front of him. And we've heard it twice in passing in packages over the last 3 years.
Hobbs, who they started rebuilding again randomly in videos that would show up for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then we haven't seen him again since.
You made the monster. Apparently, we made him to go away for quite some time. But that's what I'm saying. On the other channel, if somebody gets a shin splint, they have come back from terminal cancer. In this company, you get somebody handed to you that through outside measures, not involving you, Brian Pillman's Dark Side of the Ring episode, what we just talked about, Hobbs's brother, Mark Briscoe's brother, and the circumstances. And they don't know how to pick up on it. And they drop it every time. You know what, Brian? At this point, to be quite honest with you, at this point in the program, I was needing somebody to talk to. I was depressed. I had anxiety. My butthole was quivering and clenching up inadvertently at random times. You know, that's a sign of severe anxiety when you have butthole clenches at random times. Have you ever had the butthole clenches at random times?
I haven't. I'm unfamiliar with this.
Well, sometimes when life gets you bogged down, folks, you may feel overwhelmed. Your butthole may be clenching at random times, or you're not projecting out your best self the way you want to. Working with a therapist can help you get closer to the best version of you. It can help you take out your strains when you see talent on a television program that you love and respect being mismanaged. You need to talk to somebody like I'm talking to you, Brian, and the folks out there can talk to our friends just like you are my friend, Brian, and they are our friends. You, our friends.
You won't get there, will you?
You need to talk to our friends at BetterHelp. You know, BetterHelp is obviously a sponsor of this particular episode of the program, as they are of so many of them. And that's because a lot of the folks out there in the cult, they send us emails. They've gone through rough patches. Sometimes it helps to talk to somebody, bounce some ideas or problems off other people to get a different viewpoint on everything. And as they say at BetterHelp, when you feel empowered, you're more prepared to take on everything that life throws at you, even bad television programs. So, folks, if you're thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp is a great option. Convenient, flexible, affordable, entirely online. You don't have to go anywhere in person. No one will come to your home. No salesman will call. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched up with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Of course, now, just don't be a wise ass and just go through everybody they got on the roster once. That would be rude. But if you want to live a more empowered life, therapy can get you there, and we can get you money off. That's right, a discount. If you go to BetterHelp, that's H-E-L-P, BetterHelp.com/JCE right now, today, this very minute. If you got time, you'll get 10% off your first month's services. BetterHelp.com/JCE, 10% off your first month's services. Folks, once again, if you need to talk to somebody, they'll listen to you better than me and Brian do, because Brian's notoriously prickish about these things, and I just don't have time.
BetterHelp